Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 9. My name is Xavier Robert, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu moves to clear $10 billion forex backlog. Federal government partners IHS to establish 3MTG learning community in Nigeria. Plus, Hamas says over 5,000 killed in Israeli strikes on Gaza. Details of these stories and more in a moment. First in the news tonight, President Bola Tinubu has promised to honor all the foreign exchange obligations that Nigeria has entered into through forward contracts. Forward contracts are financial agreements where two parties agree to exchange a specified amount of one currency for another currency at a predetermined future date and exchange rate. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, initiated agreements with Nigerian businesses to sell forward contracts, which essentially promised the businesses a fixed amount of dollars at a predetermined time. Well, the business is fixed amount of dollars at a predetermined price in the future, and these contracts allowed the businesses to open letters of credit, LCS, which are a form of payment guarantee issued by banks on behalf of the importers. Meanwhile, President Tinubu has applauded the judgment rendered by Judge Robin Knowles of the Business and Property Court in London, awarding a landmark victory to the federal government of Nigeria over a firm known as Process and Industry Development (PNID) Limited. Following Judge Knowles' dismissal of the $11.5 billion value of the award plus accumulated interest previously won by PNID over a failed 2010 deal to allegedly build a gas processing plant on the grounds that the award was obtained by fraud, President Tinubu recommended the merits of the case above all other considerations. The President, in a statement issued by Special Advisor Media and Publicity Ajurin Galale, said the landmark judgment proves conclusively that nation-states will no longer be held hostage by economic conspiracies between private firms and solitarily corrupt officials who conspire to extort and in-debt the very nations they swear to defend and protect. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has recommended public-private financing for Nigerian universities. The President added that Nigerian universities would get the required resources they desperately need to elevate the level of university education in the country with the right mix of public and private financing. Tinubu stated this in Ilorin, Kwara State capital, at the 37th and 38th convocation ceremonies of the University of Ilorin, Unilorin. The President, who was represented by the Minister of State for Education, Yusuf T. Sununu, called on corporate bodies, communities, and individuals to support public universities. Elsewhere, President Tinubu has assured that the era of industrial elections in the nation's academic environment has come to an end, as the administration's student loan scheme commences January next year. President Tinubu gave the assurance while speaking at the 29th edition of the annual Nigerian Economic Summit, anchored by the Nigerian Economic Summit Group (NESG) in Abuja. Tinubu, who spoke extensively on his administration's plans to stabilize the economy with the collaboration of all stakeholders, especially the private sector, also noted that the need to immediately initiate a sustainable credit scheme, which he said will aid an effective anti-corruption campaign. In a separate development, former President Olusegun Obasanjo has again stressed the need for the country to shift from a mono-economy marked by over-dependence on crude oil and embracing non-oil exports, particularly agribusiness to overcome the problem of forex crisis that has significantly impacted the nation's economy negatively. Obasanjo alluded to the assertion by some commentators who opined that oil had become a curse to the nation, hampering the development of potentials in other areas. The former president spoke at the closing ceremony of a one-week training organized for 200 entrepreneurs by the African Leadership Foundation in Abeokuta, Ogun State. He expressed sadness that Africa had continued to remain at the bottom of the global trade pyramid and global value chain, accounting for only 1.9% of global manufacturing, because it has failed to add value to even its small export of primary commodities. Away from that, the federal government has reopened the third mainland bridge after closure for palliative work. The Federal Controller of Works in Lagos, Olukorede Kisha, expressed satisfaction with repairs done on the third mainland bridge, assuring motorists of a smooth ride till the commencement of comprehensive rehabilitation in January 2024. During the inspection, the controller stopped on various portions between Iyana Oworo and Adeniji Adele, where remedial repairs had been done on a 9.7-kilometer stretch of the Lagos Island inbound lane. She stated that the construction done was just palliative work to keep the highway in good condition, pending the comprehensive rehabilitation scheduled for January 2024. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy has announced a 1 billion naira 3-year partnership with IHS Nigeria to establish the 3 million Technical Talent Programs 3MTT learning community in Nigeria. The head of press and public relations, Kaito Moore, made the disclosure in a statement today in Abuja. According to Moore, the key objective of this partnership is a nationwide learning initiative that is aimed at empowering Nigerians with critical digital skills, which is the fulcrum of the 3MTT. She said the partnership would facilitate the setting up of learning communities in the Federation for the purpose of providing opportunities for the 3MTT participants to gather weekly, learn, collaborate, and build projects, amongst other things. Speaking on the importance of the partnership that would fast-track this developmental initiative, the Minister of Communications, Dr. Bosun Tijani, said the funds provided by IHS Nigeria were a significant commitment. Tijani said that it would further support the ministry's efforts to generate a pipeline of technical talent to contribute to President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope for gender objectives. In the meantime, the federal government has commenced a cash transfer program to cushion the effects of the fuel subsidy removal, with the enrollment of veterans, widows, orphans of fallen heroes, and caregivers for the palliatives. The Ministry of Defense, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, has flagged off the process at the Aguiyi Ronsi Conference Center, Umuahia, Abia State. At the event, the National Chairman of the Nigerian Legion, Major General Abdul Malik Jubril, retired, emphasized that the initiative is a testament to President Bola Tinubu's commitment to touching the lives of at least 15 million households to reduce hardships. He described the gesture as one of a kind, noting that the households will receive 25,000 naira for 3 months, which will go a long way in cushioning the effects of inflation. In another development, the Minister of Federal Capital Territory FCT Nyesom Wike today ordered the demand and verification of a tax clearance certificate (TCC) as a precondition for business transactions in the nation's capital. The mandate Secretary, Economic Planning, Revenue Generation and Public-Private Partnership Secretariat FCT Administration FCTA Chinedum Elechi disclosed this while briefing reporters. Elechi explained that Section 85 of the Personal Income Tax Act 2011 provides that ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs or commercial banks demand TCC when transacting with any person as specified by law. He added that the TCC would cover the immediate past 3 years preceding the current year of assessment He further said that MDAs or commercial banks shall also verify the authenticity of tax clearance certificate by issuing tax authority before carrying out any of the transactions. Judicial matters now. The Supreme Court has said that there are conflicting letters from the Chicago State University CSU on President Bola Tinubu's certificate. The chairman of the 7-member panel hearing the application, Justice John Okoro, made this known today. Justice Okoro noted that criminal matters have to be proved beyond reasonable doubt. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has reserved judgment in the appeal by Peter Obi and the Labour Party LP against the September 6th judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Court (PEPC), which affirmed the victory of President Tinubu. Recall that the Apex Court had struck out the appeal by the Allied People's Movement (APM), seeking to nullify the election of President Tinubu. In the meantime, the Supreme Court has dismissed an appeal by Senator Smart Adeyemi challenging the nomination of Usman Ahmed Ododo as the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress (APC) in the November 11 gubernatorial election in Kogi State. The Apex Court, in a judgment delivered by Justice Emmanuel Akomaye Agim, imposed a fine of 2 million naira on Adeyemi for filing what it described as a frivolous and vexatious suit. Justice Agim held that the case of the appellant was completely bereft of merit. The court upheld the findings of the Federal High Court and the Court of Appeal, both in Abuja, to the effect that a lawful primary election was conducted and won by Ododo. In the meantime, the Court of Appeal in Abuja has nullified the victory of the Senate Minority Leader Simon Nwankwan in the February 25 senatorial election in Plateau North Senatorial District. A 3-member appeal panel ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to, within 90 days, conduct a fresh election in the senatorial district. The court gave the verdict while ruling on the appeal filed by Chris Giwa of the All Progressives Congress and Gyang Ji of the Labour Party. Justice E. Daudu, who read the lead judgment of the appellate court, held that the High Court order was not fully complied with by the PDP, as 12 local government areas did not participate in the said Congress. Still on judicial matters, the Federal High Court has okayed 2 separate suits seeking the removal of the newly appointed chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Olanipekun Olukoyede. Both suits were brought before the court by legal practitioners Stanley Okawara and Maxwell Okwara. They are also seeking an order setting aside to and nullifying the appointment of the 4th defendant as the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on October 12, 2023. On security matters now, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, has said that the Nigerian Army has acquired electronic warfare capabilities and is now taking advantage of the convergence of electronic and cyber warfare. Lagbaja said this in Abuja at the opening of the maiden cybersecurity workshop of the Nigerian Army Cyber Warfare School. According to reports, the theme of the workshop is Role of Information Technology to National Security against upcoming threats and cyber attacks, represented by the Deputy Director General, Nigerian Army Heritage and Future Center, Major General Sanusi Dahiru. Abuja said the Nigerian Army had in the past made very limited inroads in its attempt at acquiring electronic warfare capabilities. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has announced that the state government is set to launch its new agriculture boosting campaign with the establishment of a model oil palm mill in Ibekwe Panya, Bareni local government area. The state governor announced the government's readiness to kickstart the project while speaking at a special church service at the Solid Rock Kingdom Church headquarters Ibekwe held to mark the 75th birthday celebration of the Apostle John Okoriko. The governor said the location of the meal at Ibekwe community is to complement the already existing massive oil palm plantation by the Solid Rock lead pasture and to provide various levels of processing services for other oil palm farmers in the area, ensuring that the meal will be a replication of the Songhai Farms model. Governor Noor, on behalf of the government and people of the state, also congratulated Apostle John Okoriko on his 75th birth anniversary and lauded his ministration style of simplifying the gospel to the understanding of the locals, describing him as an asset in the Akwa Ibom church community. In the meantime, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has reiterated the state's readiness to collaborate with development partners in order to attract investments into the state. In an interview with pressmen at the Victoria International Airport, Uyo, on his return from the 8th Annual London Political Summit at the House of Commons, Westminster Summit, Governor Noor said such opportunities for him is always an occasion to showcase the safe and lucrative economic opportunities the state is endowed with, stressing that the summit availed him another opportunity to attract investors to the state. Beyond investment interests, the governor, who was a delegate at the summit, said he also seized the opportunity of having several multinational agencies and aid organizations in one spot to market the state and assure relevant organizations of the state's readiness to partner for development, noting that the state cannot depend solely on federal allocation for growth. Government House correspondent Jainawar reports that the governor also disclosed that he had used the occasion to meet with citizens of the state in the diaspora to discuss on the need to attract more foreign direct investments in areas of health, agriculture, artificial intelligence, and other ICT fields, amongst others, into the state. Still to come in the news. Copper hovers near one-year low. Let's start with this.
The National Broadcasting Commission welcomes broadcasters, content creators, tech experts, exhibitors, and investors from Nigeria and all over to the 13th edition of Africast. Africast 2023 brings you 3 days of world-class exposition, innovation, and technology advancement, featuring an exceptional lineup of industry leaders that will inspire and guide you with their insights and expertise. Theme: broadcast content, synergy, finance, and market. Date: Tuesday the 24th to Thursday the 26th of October 2023. Venue: Marriott Hotel, Ikeja, Lagos. Time: 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. Chief host: Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed Idris. Host: Mr. Charles Ibwebu, Director General. Announcer: Management, NBC. Your right to quality broadcasting.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people. But there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTime's DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but you can't be talking about cases which are in court,
Is
my
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Thanks for staying tuned. We move on now to Africa, where the European Union took a legal step towards imposing sanctions on Niger's new military rulers who overthrew the democratically elected leader in July. The 27-nation bloc has condemned the ouster of Niger's president, Mohamed Bazoum, which toppled a key Western partner in the jihadist-hit region. The EU announced it had adopted a legal framework under which it can now sanction individuals and entities responsible for actions that threaten the peace, stability, and security of Niger. Meanwhile, the EU has already suspended security cooperation and financial support with Niger following the military takeover. The former colonial power France is currently pulling out its 1,500-strong military deployment to the Sahel country after a demand from Niger's new rulers. So in Africa, the government of Rwanda says it has sent humanitarian assistance to the Palestinian people in Gaza. In a brief written statement sent to newsmen, the government's deputy spokesman, Alain Mukuralinder, said the donation was sent to the Jordan Hashemite charity organization JHCO and has arrived in the Jordanian capital, Amman. He said the donation comprises 16 tons of food items, medicines, and medical supplies, adding that Rwanda reiterates the need for a de-escalation to protect the lives of innocent civilians. Rwanda is one of the countries on the continent that has close ties with Israel. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited Rwanda in 2016. Both countries share haunting similarities to the genocide of its people, according to Netanyahu in a visitor's book after tearing a memorial for the victims of Rwanda's 1994 genocide. Meanwhile, Kenyan President William Ruto has said that the country will not experience El Nino rains as predicted, citing a forecast by Kenya's meteorological department. He urged Kenyans to use the new prediction of abundant rainfall to produce more food from farming to ensure that the country is food secure. Reports say the El Nino weather phenomenon occurs when sea surface temperatures in the tropical eastern Pacific rise to about 0.5 degrees Celsius above average. Recall that experts had warned that El Nino rains could hit Kenya and other East African countries from mid-October. In the meantime, an ordained Kenyan Catholic priest has taken the unusual step of getting married. In the Catholic tradition, priests are supposed to commit to a life of celibacy, but Reverend Father Edwin Kathangi Waiguru has now joined a splinter group known as the Catholic Charismatic Church. Bishop Patrick Mullo of the Kirinyaga Charismatic Church conducted a wedding ceremony on Sunday in Kiambu country, just north of the capital Nairobi. Standing next to his bride, Margaret Wanjira Gitui, Father Gaiguru said, "It is possible to serve God and have a family and have a lovely wife." And while hundreds of the couple's family and friends went to witness the unusual ceremony. Still in Africa, about 817 suspected cholera cases have been recorded in 3 Sudanese states, including 35 deaths. The cases were reported in Gadaref, South Kordofan, and Khartoum states. Privately owned Al Rakoba news website reported, citing the World Health Organization (WHO). I recall that the UN last week said that months of conflict in Sudan had left millions of people at risk of cholera, dengue, measles, malaria, and other diseases without sufficient containment capacities. The WHO has also warned that the lives of over 9,000 kidney patients were in danger due to the limited number of dialysis centers in the country. Meanwhile, Sudan's hospitals have been hit hard by the conflict between the army and a paramilitary force, with many stopping operations amid fighting. Elsewhere, South Africa's third biggest political party, the Economic Freedom Fighters, has held a protest outside the Israeli embassy in the capital, Pretoria. The party leader, Julius Malema, once again called for the closure of the embassy after saying Israel's government had no respect for humanity. Malema also urged retailers in the country to remove Israeli-produced goods from their shelves by the end of October. The governing African National Congress, ANC, held a similar picket outside Israel's embassy on Friday. Meanwhile, ANC Deputy Secretary General Mbula Mokonyane called on South Africans to boycott imports from Israel in solidarity with Palestinians. Still in Africa, Tanzania has signed a 30-year port management agreement with the United Arab Emirates, UAE, despite opposition to the deal. Under the agreement, Dubai Port DP World will run 4 berths or quays at Dar es Salaam, Tanzania's largest port. The Emirati firm and the Tanzania Port Authority will also collaborate in managing 3 other berths at the port. The partnership includes an investment of $250 million by Dubai Port World to upgrade infrastructure at the port over the next 5 years. In the meantime, fighting has again erupted in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo between pro-government forces and rebels from the M23 group. Residents say the rebels have occupied the town of Kinshasa in North Kivu province since Saturday. According to reports, several people have been taken to hospital with gunshot wounds. The area has changed hands several times since the beginning of the year. On the foreign scene, Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry today said more than 5,000 people have been killed in the besieged Palestinian enclave since Israel launched its withering bombing campaign more than 2 weeks ago. The alarm has surged about the spiraling humanitarian crisis in Gaza amid the war sparked by the October 7 Hamas attack that Israeli officials say killed more than 1,400 people who were gunned down, stabbed, or burnt by the Islamist militants. Hamas also took more than 200 hostages. On the day when Israel's army reported more than 300 new strikes within 24 hours, Gaza's health ministry said the death toll had surged above 5,000, and about 40% of them were children. According to reports, thousands of buildings have been destroyed and more than 1 million people displaced in the territory that has been under siege and largely deprived of water, food, and other basic supplies. Meanwhile, about a dozen trucks carrying desperately needed aid, the third convoy in 3 days, arrived inside Gaza from Egypt through Rafah, Gaza's only crossing not controlled by Israel. On the foreign scene, White House has said that U.S. President Joe Biden has discussed the Israel-Hamas war with leaders of major Western powers. The White House said Biden spoke with the leaders of Britain, Canada, France, Germany, and Italy. It added that the leaders reiterated their support for Israel and its right to defend itself against terrorism and called for adherence to international humanitarian law, including the protection of civilians. Meanwhile, Spanish police said today they have seized centuries-old gold artifacts worth over 60 million euros that were stolen and taken out of Ukraine illegally. According to police in a statement, the 11 pieces, including necklaces, bracelets, and earrings, were displayed at a Kiev museum between 2009 and 2013 and were smuggled out of Ukraine before 2016. Reports say 3 Spanish and 2 Ukrainian nationals, one of them an Orthodox church priest, were arrested as part of the operation, which was carried out with the help of the authorities in Ukraine as well as Albania, Bulgaria, Cyprus, and North Macedonia. Police said the artifacts had forged documents in English, Ukrainian, and Spanish to make it look as if they belonged to the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. In the meantime, Switzerland's anti-immigration Swiss People's Party rebounded from searing losses 4 years ago to become the largest parliamentary faction after the election. Official results showed as 2 environmentally minded parties lost ground despite record glacier melt in the Alpine country. Pre-election polls suggested that Swiss voters had 3 main concerns: rising fees for the obligatory free market-based health insurance system, climate change, which has eroded Switzerland's many glaciers, and worries about migrants and immigration. Meanwhile, the final tally late Sunday showed the People's Party, known as SVP by its German language acronym, gained 9 seats compared to the last vote in 2019 and climbed to 62 seats overall in Parliament's 200-member lower house. On the foreign scene, Danish Deputy Prime Minister Jacob Ellemann-Jensen has said that he was retiring from politics just months after he returned from a 6-month leave due to stress and overwork. Ellemann-Jensen said his personality overshadowed the Venstre Party's results in government and had become a hindrance to the party's ability to move forward. Reports say Venstre Vice Chairman Stephanie Loos will take over organizational duties for the party until the election of a new party leader at a party annual conference in November. And now it's time for the latest business and stock market stories. Here is the Vino Appraisal Man.
Thank you, Xavier Roberts. Good evening. It is a new business week. My name is Davina Praise Omang. In the news, we begin with the commodity market. Copper futures fell below the $3.55 mark in late October, hovering around the lowest level in nearly 1 year, as concerns of lower demand added to increasing inventories in the world's major exchanges. Expectations that the U.S. economy has shifted to a new norm of higher interest rates raised worries that industrial growth may slow, while debt-ridden property giants in China risked financial contagion for key resource buyers in Asia. In the meantime, a sharp rise in copper inventories this month weighed against heightened concerns of shortages in the long term. Inventories soared by 50% from the beginning of the month to 58.2 thousand tons on the week ending October 20th. Still, investors continue to heed market players' warnings that supply will be unable to keep up with rising demand in the long term. Reports from Environmental Impact Assessment (EIA) and the International Copper Association project copper supply to rise by 26% by 2035, sharply below projections of a 50% increase in demand. Back in Nigeria, Nigeria has won its case against the Process and Industrial Development Company, P&ID. In the case, the federal government sought to overturn an arbitration award in favor of P&ID, which has now accrued interest worth $11 billion. The company had claimed it entered into an agreement with Nigeria to build a gas processing plant in Calabar, Cross River State, but the deal collapsed because the Nigerian government did not fulfill its end of the bargain. Meanwhile, the London High Court has now delivered judgment in Nigeria's favor. Still in Nigeria, the exchange rate between the naira and dollar opened the week at 1,200 naira per dollar on different peer-to-peer platforms as traders continue to face demand pressures amidst dwindling supply. However, noon sellers quoted as high as 1,210 naira per dollar. Meanwhile, in the black market, where the exchange rate is sold unofficially, quotes were going for 1,200 naira per dollar for cash trades and 1,250 naira to 1,300 naira for inflows called wire transfers. Meanwhile, according to reports, actual cross rates might be higher or lower depending on who is buying or selling. Nigerian stock market report. Today is the first trading day of the week, and a total of 314.61 million shares and 6,133 deals, corresponding to a market value of 4.388 billion naira, were traded. The current market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is 36.7 trillion naira. The benchmark all-share index paired 38.49 basis points to close at 66,876.92 points. Meanwhile, 120 listed equities participated in trading, ending with 23 gainers and 21 losers. Thomas White, Nigeria, led the gainers with 9.92% share price appreciation, closing at 3 naira 99 kobo per share. On the losing side, VFD Group came out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 9.99% at 242 naira 0.40 kobo per share. United Bank for Africa recorded the highest volume of 47.2 million traded shares. Well, this is all in business news, and back to Xavier Roberts for the rest of the news.
Many thanks, Davina. Still to come in the news. United States to begin in Perth. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. We move on to health, where the Association of Resident Doctors ARD at Federal Medical Center at Bogota, Ogun State has called for urgent action to address the serious shortage of medical staff at the institution. The association urged the federal government to provide additional resources and support to the institution to improve the quality of care and reduce the burden on staff. The ARD president at the institution, Dr. Tope Sundara, made the call at the handing over of a newly constructed medical facility built by the Professor Musa Olomo-led administration to the association. He lamented that the shortage of staff has been a long-standing issue of the hospital, adding that it is leading to increased waiting times for patients, reduced access to care, and longer stays in the hospital. Still in health, as part of efforts to increase mental health awareness among adolescents and reduce cases of suicide in Nigeria, a non-governmental organization, NGO, Youth Development and Empowerment Initiative, has called for the inclusion of mental health in primary and secondary school curricula. The NGO noted that including mental health in the school curriculum will help young people become aware of mental health conditions early through awareness creation and know how to recognize signs of mental health problems and when to seek help. Speaking at a program, a public health physician at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital Ikeja, Dr. Toriola Femi Adebayo, said the inclusion had become crucial, citing challenges faced by young people in the country. The physician said young people are facing a lot of stress hence the need for one to take care of their mental health. Let's head over now to Isaac for latest sports stories.
Well, thank you so much. Welcome. In sports, Perth and Sydney would host the world's best tennis players when the second edition of the United Cup kicks off in Australia in 2024. 18 countries were drawn into 6 groups of 3 teams at the official draw. The United Cup will take place from December 29, 2023 to January 7, 2024. Top seeds Poland, led by world number 2 and 4-time Grand Slam champion Igor Swiatek and Hubert Hurkacz, will headline Group A at the RAC Arena in Perth, alongside Spain and a third team to be confirmed based on WTA rankings in November. Czech Republic, China, and the Novak Djokovic-led team, Serbia, round out Group A in Perth. Croatia's Borna Koric and Dino Vekic lead Group F, alongside Netherlands and Norway, with world number 8 Casper Ruud. The United Cup, an ATP and WTA event presented in partnership with Tennis Australia, offers a minimum of 15 million Australian dollar in prize money and 500 ATP and 500 WTA Tour ranking points. Moving on to football, Jamaica's Women's World Cup squad say they would not play in the country's upcoming matches, accusing the Football Federation of delayed payment and poor management. The players say they have not received full pay for their World Cup performances or bonuses for qualifying. They also say they only found out they had the new head coach on social media. The Reggae Girls produced a historic performance in the summer, reaching the knockout stages for the first time. The team are set to travel to Panama on Wednesday before a home match against Panama 4 days later in CONCACAF Gold Cup qualifying. On Friday, the Jamaican Football Federation named an inexperienced 23-player squad for the 2 games. Well, coming back further home, as Nigeria battles Ethiopia on Wednesday, Barcelona forward Asisa Toshola, Michel Alozie, goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie, and other invited Super Falcon stars are expected to arrive in Addis Ababa today ahead of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games qualifiers against Ethiopia on Wednesday. The players are expected to have arrived today to begin preparations for the game later today as well. NFF Director Media Ademola Lajire said the Super Falcons manager Randy Wardrum would travel straight from his US base to the camp, just as all the Europe-based players would jet to the East African country from their bases. According to reports, CAF has appointed Togolese referees for the encounter, which decisive leg will hold at the MKO Abiola Stadium in Abuja 6 days later. Ethiopia eliminated Chad in the first round of the Olympics qualifying series, while the Falcons drew a bye. But that's it on sports. My name is Isaac. Thank you very much and good evening.
Thanks, Isaac. On entertainment, Nollywood actress Tonto DK has reportedly switched his allegiance on politics to All Progressives Congress APC. The thespian decamped from the opposition African Democratic Congress ADC. According to reports, DK will be officially unveiled by the APC National Women Leader Dr. Maria Lile at the National Secretariat in Abuja. Recall that Tonto DK was the deputy governorship candidate of the African Democratic Congress ADC in Rivers State for the 2023 election. She and her principal Tonte Braye lost the election to Siminalayi Ubara of the People's Democratic Party PDP, the ruling party in the state. So in entertainment, popular Nigerian actor and TV star Toby Bakre has won an award for acting at the just concluded the Future Awards Africa TFAA. Celebrating the win on social media, Bakre's gratitude went out to his elder brother, who had previously won TFAA award, and inspired him to keep pushing. Reports say TFAA, which was held in Lagos State, saw 25 nominees emerge winners with selections across various categories ranging from social activism to business and entertainment. And lastly, on entertainment tonight, Nigerian artists Davido and Rema were the big winners at the just concluded 2023 Trades Awards held in Kigali, Rwanda. Rema won 2 awards, Song of the Year for his hit record Calm Down and Best Global African Artist alongside South African act Nomsibo Zikode. Davido bagged 2 awards, Best Male and Best Collaboration, while Burna Boy snagged the Album of the Year award for his Love Damini project. That's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at 9. My name is Xavier Robert. Bye for now.